Hi everybody, today we're going to talk about graphing piecewise functions. We're going to start really easy with only two parts, and both of those parts are going to be constant. We have the function f of x is equal to 2 when x is greater than 3, then f of x is negative 1 if x is less than or equal to negative 3. To start, I'm going to look at when x is greater than 3. Notice it's not greater than or equal to 3. The x value of 3 is not included. What I want to think about is my starting place. So anything bigger than 3 will be equal to 2. On my graph, I'm going to put an open circle at the point 3, 2 to say this is where I begin, but I'm not including this point. Then all the values of x greater than 3 will be equal to 2, which I can show by putting in a line. The other piece of my graph says starting at negative 3, the values are negative 1. This time, because negative 3 is included, I put a closed dot at the point negative 3, negative 1. Then I'll put a line that extends to the left through negative 1. Our second graph has three pieces. It says f of x is x when x is less than or equal to negative 2. It's 2x if x is greater than negative 2 but less than or equal to 3. Then it's x minus 5 when x is greater than 3. We'll start in the first piece where f of x is x when x is less than or equal to negative 2. I'll evaluate f of negative 2 and get negative 2. This says I have a point at negative 2, negative 2. Notice this is a closed dot because I do have equality at negative 2. Then I'm going to put in negative 3. f of negative 3 is equal to negative 3, so I put a second dot at negative 3, negative 3, and then I connect those dots going only to the left because I'm only looking at values less than negative 2. The second piece of the function is 2x, where x is greater than negative 2 and less than or equal to 3. Because negative 2 is not included in this part, I find the value of negative 2 times 2, which is negative 4, and I put an open dot at the point negative 2, negative 4. Then I'll evaluate f of 3, which is 2 times 3, which gives me the value of 6. This time I've closed dot because I do have equality at 3. Now I can connect these two pieces. In the last piece, I have f of x is x minus 5 where x is greater than 3. 3 minus 5 gives me negative 2. Because x is strictly greater than 3, I want to put an open dot at 3, negative 2. Then I'll evaluate f of 4, which is equal to 4 minus 5. So I have a point at 4, negative 1. Now I can connect these points, but going only to the right to show that x is greater than 3. Let's take a look at how we could do that in MyOpenMath homework. In this question, I'm given f of x is 0.5 of x plus 4 if x is less than or equal to negative 2. It's equal to 3 if x is greater than negative 2 and less than or equal to 4. And then negative 1.5x plus 6 if x is greater than 4. I'll start in my first piece, which is 0.5x plus 4. If I evaluate negative 2 times 0.5 plus 4, I get 3. So I'll be starting at the point negative 2, positive 3. At the bottom of the graph, I see choices of having a line segment, or a half line. I want to start with a half line. I go to the point negative 2, positive 3, and I put a point. Then to get my second point, I want to pick a value less than negative 2. Because I'm multiplying by 0.5, I want to pick an even number. So let's find f of negative 4. Negative 4 times 0.5 plus 4 gives me negative 2 plus 4, which is positive 2. So I'm going to go over to negative 4 and then a positive 2, and I'll put my dot. Let's go to our second part. Our second piece says f of x is equal to 3 when x is greater than negative 2 and less than or equal to 4. I have a constant value of 3 for this piece of the function. This is a line segment. It's going to start at negative 2, positive 3, which is where we were earlier. So we'll go back and connect to the dot there. Then I'm going to go over to positive 4, 3, and I'll put my second dot. The last part says it's negative 1.5x plus 6. If I do 4 times negative 1.5, I get negative 6. Negative 6 plus 6 gives me 0. So when I go over to 4, I'm going to have a 0. Start at 4, 0. Then to get the other part, I'll pick a second number. Once again, I'll pick an even number to get a nice calculation. Negative 1.5 times 6 gives me negative 9. Negative 9 plus 6 will give me a negative 3. So I know to go over to 6 and then down to negative 3 and put my second dot. Now we are not done. Notice I haven't used the open or closed dots or really talked about the inclusion of the endpoints. At 4, it says strictly greater than. I'm going to grab the open dot and put it at the beginning of my half line. In our second piece, negative 2 to 4, we do have a closed dot at the end of our line segment. The negative 2 had the same value for both pieces, and we see it's touching. When we submit, we see that we got it correct. Remember to pay attention to the little notes that will help you in the homework. Notice this note says be sure to include closed or open dots, but only at breaks in the graph. That says where we didn't have a break in the graph, we did not have to put the extra point. Good luck.